When I first started following the CFL, I was about 6 or 7 years of age. I automatically became a Montreal Alouettes fan, but the Hamilton Tiger Cats always impressed me in the early 70s because they had a good balanced team, and one of their players is this guy, and this legend of the CFL, legend of the wrestling ring, just passed away after a long bout with Alzheimer's disease. And all I can say is that heaven's a rougher place today. Angelo Mosca, King Kong, the man, the myth, the legend, has passed away after a long battle at age 84 with Alzheimer's. Angelo is best described as, you take the best aspects of a Canadian lumberjack and a rhino and an elephant and a panther and a snake, and you put them all together. This guy was dangerous. This guy was fast. This guy was quick. 6'4", 275, and like a truck rolling down the hill with no brakes. He hit anything that moved, and they felt it. Now, he was not born in Canada. He was born in all places. The quiet and respectful community of Walton, Massachusetts. I've been there, and they're very proud of King Kong. Now, he went into wrestling right after the CFL. He was known as his two main, heel names, King Kong, Mosca, and the Mighty Hercules. He had a son, Angelo, that also wrestled. Now, he's elected in numerous Hall of Fames, including the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 87, the Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame in 2012, and the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame in 2013. Mostly a defensive tackle, he came out of Notre Dame, and eventually was a 30th round pick in the 59 NFL draft by the Eagles, but he decided to take a chance on the CFL even before the draft. Now, in 58, he signed with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but was eventually traded to the Ottawa Rough Riders for Hardeman Curaton on August 15, 1960, and played for the Rough Riders in 1961 before joining the Alouettes in 62 for 5 games. He played his remaining years from 62 to 72 in Hamilton. Now, he was a 5-time All-Star. He was a CFL All-Star, All-Canadian, 63 and 70, CFL East All-Star in 60, 63, 65, 66, and 70. And the victims in his wake have lived to tell the tale and were very controversial as well. Now, he played in 9 Grey Cup games, more than any other player in CFL history, of course tied with his teammate John Barrow. Mosca's teams won 5 Grey Cup games, 1 with Ottawa and 4 with Hamilton. Now, the honors came for the Grey Cup champion 60, 63, 65, 67, and of course the classic 72 game on Tony Gabriel's late game catch. Now, he's most infamous for the 51st Grey Cup game out of bounds and late hit on BC Lions star running back Willie Fleming. Now, with Fleming out of the game, the Tiger Cats went on to win the Grey Cup, and Moscow's reputation as being the meanest CFL player grew. It was a reputation he later promoted as the notorious professional wrestler King Kong Mosca. Now, let's put this in perspective. Dick Butkus in the States, very tough. But Mosca combined speed, energy, anger, and whoever was in his path, he was going to knock out. There was no sack numbers that really can encompass how dangerous this guy was. But you have a chance, go on YouTube, see the old tapes, especially the 72 game. The man was like a magnet. He knew where the quarterback was, or the running back. Now, because of his excellence on the field, on August 20 to 25th, 2015, the Tiger Cats announced that they would retire Mosca's jersey number 68. This is only the second jersey number the club has retired, the other being Hall of Fame quarterback Bernie Fallone's marked number 10. Now, as a wrestler, again, known as King Kong, King Mosca, and Angelo Mosca Sr., but as he's built weight, he put on a little bit of weight. He was still wrestling and playing football at the same time. Started in 1960, ended in 1968. On a good night, he weighed between 305 and 325 pounds. Now, he was brought into wrestling by Montreal promoter Eddie Quinn, the notorious Eddie Quinn. He began wrestling in the off-season in the CFL and became a full-time wrestler after his retirement from pro football. He wrestled all across North America, always at or near the top of the card, and almost always as a heel, even in Toronto. until the late 1970s. But he did become a face in the early 80s. He was a lead face. He often used a sleeper as his finisher in later years. In 81 in the WWF, Mosca wrestled as often a reversal of his character in Canada as the promotion's most hated heel due to his brutal style. He became a top challenger to WWF champion Bob Backlund's world title, but was not successful in winning the belt. He also engaged in a feud with Pat Patterson, a part-time wrestler who also did color commentary on the WWF syndicated programs, after Mosca attacked Patterson at a television taping with a water pitcher. But at the time, Patterson again was doing more behind the scenes and announcing than wrestling. Now, Patterson had grown disgusted with Moscow's rule-breaking tactics and, setting off the attack, publicly thanked the referee for disqualifying Mosca for refusing to pin his jobber opponent. Now, Mosca was a color commentator and wrestled for the WWF TV tapings in Ontario from August 84 until January 85. After being fired by the WWF, Mosca promoted the NWA in Ontario between 85 and 87. He and Milt Avshkin hosted a TV show featuring compilations of NWA matches. Mosca organized an NWA card in Hamilton in February 86 called Mosca Mania that drew an excellent house of 12,000 people, but the follow-up year later drew only 3,200. He retired from wrestling in 1986. Now, Mosca's son, Angelo Mosca Jr., had a brief but successful wrestling career. Now, Mosca, before his death, had lived in and around Hamilton for many years, and also resided in St. Catharines with his wife, Helen, who was a real estate agent. He first met her in 96 at a Ticats game. They married in 98. He had been divorced once and widowed prior. Now, he also authored a book with Steve Milton called Tell Me to My Face, published by Lulu Cannon Incorporated. Now, this book was released in September 2011. Now, another notorious event which made international headlines. In 2011, Mosca got into a public fight with former BC Lions quarterback Joe Kapp at a CFL alumni luncheon regarding a controversial hit Mosca made again in the 63 Grey Cup game, where Mosca ended up hitting Kapp on the head with his cane. The video of the fight went viral, including throughout the United States, receiving over 647,000 views on YouTube and mentions on ESPN's Monday Night Football and Fox TV's The O'Reilly Factor. Mosca auctioned off the cane he used against Kapp at the following year's alumni luncheon for $7,700, with the money going towards the Alumni Association's Dire Straits Fund for struggling former players. But the famous conversation with Steve Young and all the ESPN commentators saying, give it to him. But I tell you to say, Joe Kapp and Mosca had quite a battle. Of course, Kapp went on to the NFL and got to the Super Bowl with the Bud Grant Vikings, but the old rivalries don't die easy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Mosca was also a film and commercial star. He appeared on several Canadian TV commercials in the 70s and 80s. And he still made PR appearances for the league and the Ticats and for other businesses. Now, in February 2015, again, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and he made public this, again, a very private situation, and he helped people understand the struggle he was going through. Like I said, it was a sad day when we found that out. Now, again, the number 68 was dedicated at a ceremony at Tim Horton Field in Hamilton. Now, in July 2016, Mosca was also named part of a class action lawsuit filed against the WWE, which alleged that wrestlers incurred traumatic brain injuries during their tenure and that the company concealed the risk of the injury. The suit was litigated by attorney Konstantin Kiros, who was involved in a number of other lawsuits against WWE. Unfortunately, U.S. District Judge Vanessa Lynn Bryant dismissed the lawsuit in September of 2018. Now, again, awards and accomplishments. Canadian Football League, the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame in '87, of course, and he's been ranked as the 37th of top 50 players in the league's modern era by TSN. I give him higher. I give him at least top 30, in my personal opinion, because if that's any indication, the black and white films I saw, the man was killer, ladies and gentlemen. Now, pro wrestling belts and recognition. American Wrestling Association, he was the AWA British Empire champion once. Big Time Wrestling in San Francisco, he was the NWA United States Heavyweight Champion, San Francisco version, one time. 96 honoree to the Cauliflower Alley Club. Championship Wrestling from Florida, he was the NWA Florida Bahamian Championship holder one time, NWA Florida Global Tag Team title holder with Bobby Duncan once, and the NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship Florida version one time. In Georgia Championship Wrestling, he was NWA Columbus Heavyweight title holder, NWA Georgia Heavyweight title holder, and NWA Macon Heavyweight title holder one time. Now, Maple Leaf Wrestling, he was Canadian champion for NWA 5 times. In Mid-Atlantic, he was TV champion twice. NWA Tri-State, he was Brass Knuckles champion once. PWI also ranked him 305th of the 500 best singles wrestlers during the PWI years, which came out in 2003. Stampede Wrestling, he was North American champion once, and Stampede Wrestling Hall of Fame in 1995. Now, the World Wrestling Council, WWC Caribbean Heavyweight title one time, and Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards, Worst Television Announcer Award in 84. Got to take the good with the bad. Now, his Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame member video was on YouTube. Check it out. And again, what a life, what a career. But when I saw that Joe Cap fight with Mosca, and I say to myself, things don't really end, do they? He may have passed away, but ladies and gentlemen, in 84 years, he did more for the rough and tough Canadian athlete, not even being Canadian. And you know something? We should have made him at least an Order of Canada or something. I don't know if you have to be a citizen of Canada, but I would have gave it to him. But like I said, if all the stories about Angelo Mosca are true, and I got him at the tail end of his career. I got him, I think he was just 35, but he seemed like he was around forever. He played in the CFL. He was only 20, 21, where nowadays NFL players start when they're 23 or 24. I mean, you can't teach that. But Walton, Massachusetts, I know is very proud of him well. So his family and friends back there, you have our condolences, all the condolences to his extended family and friends in Hamilton and Ottawa. And, I forgot he played with Montreal a few years ago. I would like to see him play with the Alouettes of the early 1970s. Maybe he would have won more than one cup with just Sonny Wade. Imagine Angelo Mosca in Montreal with a nice Grey Cup trophy over his head. Would have been great. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here at Vintage Podcast, let us know with a like, comment, or subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.